Hello programmers, in this video we're going to discuss about union function in Apache Spark using Java. Fine. Below the title, which we're going to do the deep dive with example, and the first title, union with two different data frame or data set, and the second, how to remove the duplicate data in union data set, and the third one, union with more than two data frame or data set, and fourth, how to handle unordered data frame or dataset with the same number of headers, and fifth, how to handle null in unordered data frame or dataset which is having the same number of headers. Fine, let's get into what is union. So union is nothing but it's just one of the data transformation in Spark, and it can use to merge the two or more data frame or dataset, and it will return the new data frame or dataset. And basically it doesn't have functionality to handle the duplicate data in it, and to remove either we have to use distinct or drop duplicate function. Fine. So union has some rules, and so if you're going to use the two data frame or data in the sense, it should have same schema with structure, which means the same number of columns. Fine. Why we need a union? It can use it to merge the two or more data set or data frame. And the next, this syntax. So how to create the union function in Java. And you can see the union function is available on the dataset object itself. So if you want to use a union function, directly you can call from the dataset object, like dataset object dot union. So and the next dataset we have to define. So and if you want to use more than two dataset in the sense, we have to further call the union function from the dataset, like dataset 1 dot union and then dataset, and then next again we have to call the data union and then dataset 3. Similarly, we have to call n number of dataset. Fine, let's get into our program. So here you can see, so three different CSV files which are similar data, but only thing is, the columns headers are misplaced. So here C1, C6 and later C2, and here you can see C1, C2. Fine, let's get into our program. We'll explain line by line. So here I have created the Spark session. In the next three lines, I just getting the path of the file, and the next three lines, so I'm getting just loading the file into the Spark dataset with the option header as a true. Fine. So here I just using the union operation, and with the help of dataset 1 and dataset 2, I'm just going to union this dataset and assigning to union function object and displaying the record, and then union all. As I said earlier, since Spark 2.x, the union all is just alias for the union function. So which means so both union and union all, which will act just similar, nothing difference, and might be in upcoming future of the Spark, any one of the function may get terminated. And so after the union function, we might have some duplicate record. So if you want to remove this duplicate record, we have to use the drop duplicate function or either distinct. So here I have used the drop duplicate, and let us assign into the unique event column object. So later that I have defined the count so that we can able to see how many object has been, the duplicate has been removed. And the next thing, so as I said early in the definition of union, we can do the union more than two, the more than two data set also possible. So if you want to use the more than two, further we have to call the union function and define the data set. So here I have defined, here I have used the data set 1, data set 2 and data set 3, and later I have defined and display those record and count as well. Fine, let's run the program, and we started compiling. It may take some time, we'll wait. Fine, it's got compiled. Let's search from the beginning, from the union of two columns, the dataset 1 and dataset 2. It's going to search. So this is the one. So here you can see the dataset 1 C1, C6, C2, C3, C4 and C5 are the column headers. In Java, EXJS, Development DBA, Facebook, LinkedIn. In the dataset 2, Facebook, Twitter, Facebook, India, Java, Scala. Yes, Facebook, Twitter, England, India, Java, Scala. So, but here we have to one note. So here the column C2 contains the values Twitter, India, Scala, Cricket. But here the Twitter, India, Scala, so all comes under the C6 instead of C2 column. So these kind of challenges we have go even we go blindly with the union. So to overcome this issue, Spark has introduced another function name called union by name. We will see in further videos, and we can see that union all. Let's search the value. So here is the one. So you can see just union and a union all is just a similar values, so not a much difference. And you can see the drop duplicate. So here we can see the duplicate record like Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Quora, Instagram, WhatsApp. It should get removed. Let's check again. Let's check, copy this function and search it here. Yeah, Facebook. Yeah, here we don't see Facebook, LinkedIn. So there is only one entry, but we could see in previous, we could see the two different entries. Yeah, it got removed. And then we'll see for the three unions, three dataset unions, dataset 1, 2 and 3, and we'll search the values in the console. Just copying the debug, pasting here. Yeah, got it here. And yeah, we could see more data. It's because of the union of three different dataset, right? Yeah, fine. And that's all about the union all and the union of more than two dataset. And we'll see how to use the union by name and union by name with nullable true as values and nullable false as a missing values, which means it go more restrict on the column headers function. And just going to command these lines the previous out functions, because it may get confused when we see the results in the console. Fine. And here you can see I'm going to use the dataset 1 and dataset 2. So this is the dataset 1 and this is the dataset 2 and this is the dataset 1. So here we have the column C1 and C6 and C2, but here C1, C2, C3. So when we go with the union by name, so the corresponding the Twitter, India, Scala, it should go with the C2 column. But when we go to union, we just blindly sit into the C6 column. And union by name with all missing columns as a true. So with dataset 2 and 3. So here we can see dataset C1, C2, C3, C4, C5, C6, and here so the column C6 is missing. Here the C7 is missing. So when you go on the union, both is record. So whenever the values will come for the C7, here for the values it will come as a null. When we go here the C6, here it will come as a null. And let's see the output later. And for the data union by name with the missing null column as a false, so it will force the users. So both going to union the record side, it should have the same name columns, the same number of columns, and it should be name also same. If the name is there any difference in the count or in the name, it throw in an error. Fine, let's run the program. We'll see the output. So it started compiling. We'll wait for some time. Fine, since it's got completed, and let's search by values, and going to copy, search here. Yes, here it is. So here we use dataset 1 and 2, right? So here dataset 2, the values Java and Scala, India, Scala, cricket. It should be in column 2. Let's see. So India, Scala, cricket. So it is all in column 2. And in column 6, Quora, France, EXJS, volleyball. So here you can see volleyball, EXJS, France. And here, so you can see, so EXJS, DBA, EMR, LinkedIn. And C2, scalar testing kinesis. Scalar testing kinesis. Yes. So I mean in the values are fitted into the corresponding column header. Fine. So let's get into union by name with nullable. I mean allow missing columns. Let's search it here. So here is dataset 2 and 3, right? So here there is no C7 column, here there is no C6. First which one? Dataset 2. So it will get print first. So here there is no C7, so the value for the null. Yes. And then dataset 3, here there is no C6, the value of the column is null. Great. And the last thing, let's search. Yeah, it won't available because it throwed an error. You can see here. So cannot resolve column C6. Here it has compared C2 and C3. Here there is no column C6, so it throwed an exception. So programmatically we have to handle this exception. So that's all about union operations using Apache Spark with Java. If you have doubt or clarification or any suggestion, please share it in the comment section. Thanks for watching.